Hey, yo, Sky. Hi, yo, Sky.
Hey, I'm just
Hi.
trying to get so it goes into the headphones. I don't know why it's not working for me.
Oh, well, there you go. I was going to see if you wanted to rename yourself.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
I don't see why. What? Interesting. It won't let me do it. You're officially, you have to do it yourself. Nanny, nanny. Sweet. All right.
Oh, I got it. It's working now.
Yay. Sweet. Okay, I have my slides up so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to give Kent the con and ask him to make me a co-host. You should be a co-host now. Yeah, you are. Okay, good. So that just gives you a little bit more freedom.
Awesome.
Yes. Ooh. Is your mom going to join in the fun?
Yes, she's gonna watch.
That's so fun.
So
Yay!
yeah, she's excited. She
That's so...
invited some of her friends too.
Oh, good. Is Carrie going to come?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah!
Yep, Carrie's coming.
Okay. That's wonderful. I love that we're here early. This is so fun.
Yeah, it's good.
I didn't realize that one of the slides that Kent made had an animation on it, and I don't like the image that he used with intuition, but I can't change it because he animated it and I didn't want to mess with it, so I just went screw it.
Is it the slide 5?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. But
yeah.
Yeah. I just decided, here's the thing, Oskai, go fast over that one. Just
Okay.
let me just talk and put that up when, really fast, and I'll just talk about the topics because that slide is my least favorite.
I can do that for you.
Thank you. And then, yeah, slide 6. What I wanted to do with that one is have it be up pretty short and sweet while I'm talking about what intuition is.
Okay.
And then I'll just continue to talk and invite the ninjas to walk it through with me. And I just realized I forgot my lipstick. I'll be right back.
All right.
Okay, I'm back and I have lips.
Yay! Awesome. I'm excited for this one. I'm really interested in the topics. I think it's going to be super cool.
Me too. I think, honestly, if I can be really bold right now, while it's just the two of us, I think next week's is going to be amazing. Talking about laughter and play with Matt Eisman on the call is going to be ridiculous.
Yeah, that's going to be so cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we aren't going to have Casey tonight.
Oh, what happened?
No, it just didn't work out with her schedule.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So that's
All
fine.
right.
Yeah, totally great. But I think we might have Matt show up
That would be cool.
to introduce next week's.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
I wonder if I can fix this really quick. No. Damn it. Kent, what did you do? Dude! Maybe I can fix it really quick. Let me try.
Hey, Kent.
Hi, Kent.
Hi there.
All right. So,
Marissa Pier's video is on the Google Drive.
super. I'm going to go ahead and make you host now, Kent.
Okay.
Actually, before I do that, I'm going to start recording. Oh, it's already recording. That's good. Okay. You're good.
We are recording.
We are recording. So you, when you get the host back, you, if you can, make me a co-host.
Okay, there you go.
Sweet. So now, if I want to, so like right now, I'm going to pause.
I'm back.
Sweet.
Perfect timing. Happy 818, everybody. I celebrate every 818. It's 818 my time right now.
818. It
okay.
sure
Very
is.
Because you guys are used to it, but for the East Coast crowd, we refer to the call as the 818 call. So I don't know if you guys know that.
I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Because that's pretty much the significance of the zip code for us here on the East Coast. Call from the show.
That's fabulous.
Very cool.
All right, we're all here. Everybody's present. The recording has started, Kent. So we just, at least we have it in the can. It's going to be recording to my computer over here so that it'll render overnight. Yay.
And we'll be going live to Facebook in about 10 minutes. And about 2 minutes before, we're going to play a little countdown clock. So we're going to mute everybody. And you can either have your cameras on or cameras off. Watch the video. It's yeah. We have a little video before each show. I don't know if you guys have seen them, but
Cool. Yeah. That's good.
And yes, you're starring in them, so we it's good. Oh, you know what? Actually, Alex, say a couple words. I want to check your audio sound.
Yeah, how's this? Is the
Pretty
Ice
good.
Weeks, is it working?
Yeah, it's good. I just wanted to just check the audio level so I could hear you. And then Daniel, how about you? Can you do the
Check
same?
1, 2, 3. Mic check 1, 2, 3. How we doing over here?
Very nice. Very good. And I heard Justin earlier, and Kent, you sound good. You don't sound like you're in a tin can anymore. So I don't know.
So I'm going to show you what I did.
What did you do? Yeah. Oh, we can't see it because of the background.
Let me turn off my thing here. So my office. Let me turn this off here. My office is connected to my garage. That
Right.
on the other side of that blanket, which is actually 2 blankets and a workout mat, a big padded mat, is my garage, which I think was making my audio very hollow.
Oh. So the
So
blanket.
I soundproofed it. Yeah.
Crafty.
I love it. You are so creative. I went into the sound studio the other day, and it's got those egg crate things all over the walls and up on the ceiling and everything. And I said to the guys that were in there, you could hardly hear yourself talk, let alone anyone else. It just sounded so muffled. I said, I would like this in my whole house. The silence room. It would just be so lovely. That's great.
Yeah, I can definitely hear that it's more present than.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Cool.
it sounds really good.
Nothing seems choppy or anything either.
Oh.
Everything's nice and smooth.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody smile. We're going to do a group photo. This is our little screenshot. We got to have one for today. Yeah, thumbs up. Nice. Very good. Okay, thanks, guys. Ninja Talks.
Very good.
Curious to hear everybody's stories. I kind of don't want to wait, but we should all just.
I know.
Yeah, I'm very excited about today.
Hour goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Kent, after you go quiet on the set and we're all done, with that, I'm going to hit the button called broadcast, which allows the attendees to come on, but they're not going to show up for us on screen. They're just going to be in it's an attendee room. Okay. And then when the whole show is over, then I can bring them in and have them show up on our screen so you guys can meet them in person. All right. It's less distracting if they're out there in the attendee land during the first hour.
So, and then I'm going to get us ready for going live on YouTube in the next 2 minutes.
Okay.
Have it prepped up and ready to go.
And this is where we sing and dance. Do, do, do.
Do we share an event or to the group, Lindsay?
Share it to the group that you manage called Ninjas Thrive.
Because we did the
event page too. Yeah, we want it to go to the Ninjas Thrive page.
Okay.
That's where we've been focusing everybody. And Alex, I just saw your email. Yeah, you found it. You're in.
Cool. So in the beginning, you guys are going to do the explanation, talk a little bit about what intuition kind of is, trusting your gut or whatever. Should we also jump in there at all, or should we kind of just is there a time frame where you should do your talk, right? And then we know that now the floodgates are open. Now jump in whenever.
Here's what's going to happen, because I know exactly how you're feeling, Justin. I'm actually going to turn it right around to you guys. So I'm going to say some things about intuition. I'm going to talk about it for a brief moment and just kind of get some ideas going. And then I'm going to say, all right, guys, so tell me when you've done or experienced something in your life where intuition was really strong for you and you knew it was the right way to go, or you knew that was the best thing. And then
the best thing to avoid.
And so you can just come up with any story you want to come up with. Cool. Okay, it's totally fine.
It works both ways, It's it just didn't feel. I got this feeling that it just wasn't right.
Yeah, I've got a great example for it. Cool. It's kind of weird, kind of but always stuck in my mind and has always been something that I remember every time I have to make a big decision. Every time I get that little tingly feeling, I remember to kind of trust my gut, because it was from when I was 7 or 8 years old.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. That's exactly what we're talking about. And you guys can tell whatever stories you want.
Cool.
And I'm going to just kind of open it up to you, and you'll see what's quickly on the slide, right? It doesn't even really matter if it's directly related to the slide. It's more about, you have something you want to share where your intuition told you what to do.
Cool. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about the challenge. Is there a different challenge for this week?
Yes, there is. It's the Brain Go challenge.
Yeah, right. Do we know what that is yet? Or
yeah, we do. So I'm just going to announce it because I actually have all the data and I wasn't able to put together a video for it. So I'm just going to announce it and we'll go with it. Normally we'd like to have you guys do it, but we were literally putting together the final stuff last night. So
cool.
But Bringo is like bingo. And so you guys can comment. Like, I want to play. Yeah, I'm going to do Bringo. And
Sweet.
you'll see.
Okay, we're a couple minutes away.
I think I'm going to hit the broadcast button just to let the attendees in. All that means
Sure.
right now is that they can hear what you say. So you guys can say, "What up, everybody?" They'll be glad to hear that you recognize them. So
And they can see us too, right? At that
they
point.
can see you. They're just like they're in the room with us, except that there we go.
Cool.
The webinar is broadcasting. So what'll happen is that
Hello,
attendee number
attendees.
is going to start to increase when people start logging in.
And Sky, you're ready for the video, right? We're going to play that in 2 minutes.
Yep, I'm all set.
Okay.
Cool.
And I'm ready to go live. There's a 30-second delay on Facebook once we go live. But when I go live, you'll push the play button, okay?
Awesome.
Got it.
We sound really professional, like we've been doing this for years. This is all like trial and error over the last few weeks.
Kent and I have been in the learning mode.
It calls back to a lot of my history with producing live TV shows, but it's a very different platform, different venue. So.
Yeah. I seriously want to do this like Grand Ole Opry though, Kent. We have to invite some people who are musicians and do some weird stuff. It'd be really
I would
fun.
totally play sometime. I play. So
Do you really? Oh,
Yeah.
awesome.
maybe we'll do like a
Great.
ninja plays or something. I don't know, some play on like the terminology, get all the ninjas together that play stuff. And we all like have a live band. Oh, Daniel Gill too.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
bullshit. No.
That sounds
Christy,
so
no.
What do you
fun.
play, Alex? Do you play anything?
Just a lot of vocal harmonies. I'll just get background for Daniel.
There you
There
go.
you go.
Just play the lap, you know,
We're
just like
about 20 seconds away, guys, okay?
one of these.
All right.
Kevin,
Stand by.
roll.
Stand by, Sky. We'll be going live in just about 10 more seconds here. Uh-oh, you stole my screen.
Oops. There you go. It's back.
Now you can do it. Now you can go, Sky. I got an error when I went live.
Oh man. Oh,
Hold on one second. Don't put the screen up until I ask for it, okay, Sky? Because it takes my whole screen away, and I'm trying to be on Facebook at the same time.
Oh, got it.
Okay, stand by, Sky. You can just play it with 1 minute to go, okay, Sky?
Okay.
I love the epic music that you picked, Kent. Epic introduction music.
Okay. And go.
What does it take to be a ninja warrior? Focus.
And I feel like with anxiety, one of the greatest things you can do is just quiet your mind. Meditation is one of the greatest things that I've discovered in the recent 2 years.
Intuition.
When you choose thankfulness, you are forced to step back and look at your situation with a different set of eyes. It's unbelievable.
Determination.
I know a lot of people that have a lot of money that are not grateful for things still. Like, none of that matters. The less you compare yourself to anybody else, the more absolutely grateful you're going to be. Like, I cannot stress that enough.
Welcome everybody to Ninja Talks Live. So happy you joined us today. It is Monday, May 25th.
Gosh, how time is flying.
We are having an awesome time, and I want to say thank you to our guests, first of all, that are being here with us tonight. We have the privilege of having Justin Conway here with us. Say hi, Justin.
Hey, thanks for having me. This is awesome.
And we've got Alex Weber joining us.
So fired up. Thank you for having me.
And then we also have Daniel Gill.
What's up, guys? Blessed to be here.
Thank you guys for being here. We really, really are happy that you guys have joined us. And, you know, I wanted to share something real quick. I know I've known you guys for quite a while, and I've watched you grow on the course, but also personally as well. And I've seen you grow in your lives and grow in your way that you give back to the community, which is always so impressive to me. And you know, you all are living lives of purpose, and that is one of the reasons why Lindsay and I created this Ninja Talks, is to really show people how this community is all about giving back and about really helping each other out and finding your purpose and living your dreams and living your, you know, what you're supposed to be doing. And you know, I remember Alex when, you know, he was the host of Crashing the Course, and you know, and now he's got his own podcast. And was it Brick by Brick?
Yeah, exactly.
Brick by Brick. And I remember Daniel before he got married with Abby, and how he was so instrumental in helping out the community in Houston during the hurricane. And Justin has started a whole new organization around ninjas and giving back and helping the community by building gyms and training young kids and really helping the youth in the community to not just be ninja warriors from obstacle courses, but to live really purposeful lives. And I'm really, really grateful for you guys all being here and sharing our message with everyone.
We are so grateful. Thanks for being here, guys.
Glad to be here.
Super. Well, you know, Kent, we also have to share with our guests tonight that we have had a challenge all week, and we're not revealing yet who the winners are, but we just want you to know that somebody did win. And there were a lot of people who took a cold water challenge. So we'll tee that up for a little bit later on in the program.
See some images there of some of the posts that we had this week. And it was a lot of fun, and everybody really embraced the challenge. And I invite them to continue doing this in their lives. And I'm looking forward to seeing more comments in the chat and also on the Facebook page about the benefits that they're seeing from it. So we'll announce the winner of this challenge a little bit later on in the broadcast. But for right now, just enjoy those photos, and let's get started. Let's talk about tonight's show, Lindsay.
Well, I'm really excited about tonight, honestly, because we're talking about two of my favorite things. The thing we'll dive into first is about intuition and trusting your gut. And that's going to be a lot of fun to chat about. And I have some hot new tips for how you can actually learn how to do that a little bit more. And then the second part of the show, we get to hear from the wizard of biohacking himself, Kent Weed, who's tried everything, as well as the ninjas. So I think if you're listening tonight and you're at all curious about biohacking, you're about to get some really good stuff. So I think we'll kick it off with an intuition conversation. And what I'd really like to do is kind of share a little bit about what our definition of intuition is. And then I'm going to invite you guys as ninjas to share what are some of your stories about how intuition's worked for you in your lives. So I'll just talk a little bit about intuition is really a gift that we all have. And it's about listening to that small voice inside, that one that's not quite as loud, but it sort of says, you know, move left or call that guy or whatever it is. And it's also kind of emotional. You sometimes do feel it literally in your gut or in your heart space. It's not really in your head. You sort of get this idea of what intuition, the experience of it is. So I'd love to open it up. And I have many stories about intuition myself, but I'd like to hear from you guys. So when and how has intuition played in your lives to help you either overcome an obstacle or just point you in the right direction?
Yes, I've got a great example. If you guys don't mind me starting off.
Bring it on, Justin.
Cool. So it's kind of a crazy example. It's from when I was a kid. I was so I had this cool I was an artist when I was a kid a little bit, like I would draw, and I had this cool pencil set, and so I was using these colored pencils to draw, and I had them nice and sharp, doing like nice little detailed lines and whatever. And I'm sitting on the edge of my bed, and I have one of the pencils just sticking up like this. And I remember this so vividly. For a second, I got this weird feeling, like you said, like almost like a voice. It wasn't literally like a voice, like I didn't hear something, but just this feeling came over me, like, move the pencil. It's just the strangest thing. And I remember in my like 8-year-old brain, I thought to myself, why that doesn't make sense. And I thought about it for a second. And in that moment of thinking about it, my cat jumped up from the floor and landed right on the pencil and then flew into the air like cats do. He was okay, but like it got him for a sec, like he like hit him for a sec, and then he jumped up into the air. And I was like, oh my God, like how did I, I sat there for like minutes just mulling over what had just happened. Like, why did I feel, and listen, it could have just been, you know, like some like scientific thing where out of the corner of my eye, I saw the cat and it didn't really connect to my conscious brain. But I have used this as the example for just about everything. Every time I get that kind of tingly, like spidey sense, it comes up, you know? And the thing is, like, I taught myself, like, not to dwell on it too much and kind of trust it, you know? More times than not, there have been examples like that where some weird little, it was just so strange, you know? I mean, again, it's like burned into my brain because it was so strange. And I immediately, of course, felt horrible. I was like, oh my God, like I should have just moved the pencil. My cat just jumped up. But again, he was totally fine and everything. But yeah.
That's a great valuable lesson at age 8 to come away with that and to notice the split second of hearing the message and then going for it. And you got that so early, Justin, that it's probably even given you more confidence in your intuition. How about you, Daniel or Alex? What about you guys? Any stories you can share?
Yeah, mine also has to do with Justin's cat.
Nice.
No, Justin, I think that's awesome, man. It's I love how you call it a spidey sense. You know, there's a few that pop into my head, and one has to do more of like life and career, and another one is simply my best friend. I don't know how else to put it, but I had just moved out to Los Angeles. I didn't really know anyone, and I was at this barbecue that I didn't really know anyone at, and Rob, this guy, we had like one little 3-second interaction, and just something in my body was just like, oh, this guy. And I stood at his wedding. We've been best friends now. We did that crazy world record where we video chatted for 14 days straight, a story for another time. But it was just one of those where so easily we could have, you know, gone off into the rest of the barbecue and not talked again. But it was just, I don't know how else to word it. It felt like home. It just felt very like deep that it was right. So I think that's all to say, you know, if there's people in your life when you're around them, it just, even if you can't articulate, it just feels deeply, deeply good. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing to listen to.
I love that. Yeah, that's
the funny
really
thing
good.
About this is like, you know, to try to define it, because that's what I was thinking about leading up to this, is like, how do you define it? And I think it's, again, kind of like my experience is like, you can't overthink it. You can't really define it. It's just like this weird, what you have to do though, is just relax. And what you said about having confidence, right? Like, that was really big for me over like the years of kind of like testing this out and like, you know, learning to trust my gut and whatever was, you know, having the confidence in yourself that you do have what it takes to make the right decisions. Like, it's not the external world. Don't just trust like whatever happens. Don't just, you know, go down any path.
Absolutely.
Listen inside, listen to yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
That little voice.
the key really is to put your ego aside, and you can learn how to do this with practice because your ego wants to jump in, and it wants to take over the decision-making process because it feels it's the boss, and that's what its job is. And ultimately, we have all been in these positions where there's conflict, where one voice is saying one thing and another voice is saying another. And when you can get to a point where you can recognize which one is the ego and which one is the heart, you are better able to make the decision more clearly.
Yeah, we're going to work on that too. Daniel, how about you? What stories do you have about intuition working for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Lindsay. And I mean, similar to Alex, a lot of my greatest relationships, some of my very best friends are the ones that where when I first met them, there was just something inside of me that said like, them, keep an eye on them, like do good to them, because there was something that clicked, something that just my gut told me like these people, keep them close. Out of all the other relationships you have, like let them in. And of course, you know, over the years with history, like my history has shown me that those people that my gut instinct was bring them in, bring them close to you, those are the ones that are like my closest and most dependable friends in my life right now. So Alex, I'm with you on that. Some of my best friends came from just that intuitive gut feeling, including my wife, Abigail. Been married for over 3 years now. And gosh, I'll never forget the first day that I met her. I remember thinking like, wow, this girl is different. She's special. She's so full of life. And my gut reaction was just like, treat her well, get to know her better. And of course, now here we are, happily, blissfully married at just over, I guess like coming up on 3.5 years now. But, you know, another story that I wanted to share about, you know, just intuition and trusting our gut, you know, it's that feeling that you have deep inside of you. And it's like you said, the still small voice. And it's almost like I've got a pastor friend who refers to it as like the whisper. And for me as a believer, as a Christian, you know, the still small voice for me is it's like being spirit led, like listening to that deepest, truest voice from within me. And so a quick story, after I graduated high school, I was fully committed to going into music. You know, if you remember season 7 of American Ninja Warrior even, I was kind of referred to as the opera ninja because I'm a singer and I'm still a worship leader to this day at my home church. But when I graduated high school, I was going to go to into music or into business, to either one of the, like a college for one of those two things. But a friend of mine told me about a Bible school. And as soon as they said it, something inside of me just said like, yes, go for it. And my brain said like, no, that wasn't really the plan. You've got these 2 other options, these 2 other paths that you were planning on going on. But as I heard more about it, just something inside of me, even though I couldn't really see the end of that road, it was just like, go for it. Something felt good about it. And I couldn't talk myself out of it, even though mentally I had already done so. Like there were so many other reasons or excuses to do these other things. And so I went to this 2-year Bible school, and I got to travel the world, go to places like Bulgaria, to Rome, Italy, to Malaysia, to Japan, Honduras. I got to go all over the world, and I got to lead worship and preach and teach and do all that stuff. And the funniest thing about that story and trusting my gut to do that, was the fact that it was while I was at that Bible school that a friend of mine, a fellow student of only like 20 people that were there in the school, a student friend of mine told me about a job opportunity at an obstacle course gym. And as soon as he did, I was like, well, what do you, like obstacles? What do you mean? And he said, well, Daniel, I heard that you needed a job because I had just been let go or just finished the contract on my last job and was looking for something new. And so my gut was like, find something new. And a friend of mine at the Bible school that I went to told me, hey, I worked at an obstacle course gym. It's a Ninja Warrior gym. Have you ever seen that TV show? This was almost 8 years ago. And as soon as he did, my gut twisted within me. And you can tell that feeling. Like sometimes it's a good feeling, like go for this, go for it. And sometimes you have that twisting, like wrenching feeling in your gut that says, like, don't like back off or halt or stop. In this case, it was just like these butterflies in my stomach. So long story short, I go there to that obstacle course. It was Iron Sports Gym here in Houston, Texas. I met the owner, Sam San. I gave my resume, and I was following my gut. I was following that intuition. Everything said, this is going to work out. This is going to be great. Like, go for it. And it's funny, though, because we do face obstacles. And as we're following our gut, as we're, in my case, we're being spirit-led, it doesn't always work out initially the first time how you think it will. Because I meet the owner, I jump on the obstacles, I give my resume, I said, when can I start? This is amazing. I had no idea that this opportunity would present itself to me. And he said, well, thank you for showing up. Thank you. Give us your resume. We'll be in touch, but we don't have any options, any work employees or anything like that available for you. And I was crushed. And I said, well, okay, I'll be in touch, because like my gut tells me that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I leave, I walk out, and as I'm walking out, kind of wrestling with my thoughts, kind of praying within myself, I open the door and I walk out, and someone runs up behind me, because my gut still said that this was it. Someone runs up behind me, grabs me and says, hey, I heard you talking to my boss about wanting a job here. And I said, yes, this place is amazing. And he said, well, here's the thing. I haven't told my boss this yet, but I'm about to move to another state. And if it's cool with him, you can just have my position, Daniel, take over my classes, begin teaching, and you'll start immediately. And it's so interesting, because I look back and I trace it all back to that gut feeling, that being spirit led, and just listening to it, even though I couldn't explain all the reasoning as to why, or looking forward to the future of how it would work out. I trusted and stepped out in faith, so to speak. And gosh, that's kind of how I even got into the whole Ninja Warrior thing.
Wow, that's really cool. I love those kind of stories.
Yeah.
You know, the best part about intuition is that it goes with you wherever you go.
Mm-hmm.
And I've coached a lot of people, and one of the things that I hear in their voice when they're telling me something that's not about their intuition and they're overthinking it is they will say something like, I haven't figured it out yet. That's in our head, right? But when it's really something that's connected to your heart, or it's an instinct, or it's the right place for you to be, there's no thinking involved. You just move. And what's really cool about that is that I think you guys do that even on the course. You know, it's just sort of a feeling that you have. You're just flying through the air and flipping around. There's no thinking. It's just a do. And you've practiced a lot, but you just kind of go with it. And intuition is a lot like that. You just move with the feeling of the energy, and you go with the flow. Yeah?
Agreed.
So,
yeah.
Cool. Well, I want to share with everybody. Do we have time, Kent, for me to share the freeze frame technique? Okay,
Sure,
awesome.
please.
I think I'm putting up a slide here so that you guys can actually take a look at this. And if you want to take a picture of it, that's awesome. The idea here is to connect your heart and your head in a way that's called coherence. And there's an organization called the Heart Math Institute that really does a great job of helping people learn how to do coherence and how to actually connect your heart up to your head so that you're not thinking so much and you can follow more of that intuitive instinct. So I thought we'd just try it with the audience. So everybody out there, if you've got a piece of paper, this is a time to have it. You don't have to have a piece of paper, but it's nice if you can write it down. It just helps you remember what you thought about. So
you can also use your phone app too, like the notes application.
Exactly. You can use your notes, whatever works for you. And the idea here is to write down a situation that you're currently maybe wrestling with or thinking about that you'd like more clarity on. Could be anything that you like or that you don't like, that you're not really sure. Just jot down a couple words or a little bit of a note to yourself. All right. Then the next thing to write down is, how are you feeling about that situation? Sometimes the feeling is confusion. Sometimes the feeling is, like I would call it anger or frustration. Like, I can't figure it out. Sometimes it's sadness because there's something that's in the way. You just don't know what to get through. Don't pick the most emotional thing you could come up with today. You know, this is an early stage practice, but it's certainly fun to try. Once you have something written down, you got your situation in your mind, I want you to close your eyes and just lean back in your chair wherever you're sitting. And I want you to kind of take your inner mind's eye and focus in the area around your heart. Just really focus in on your heart. And imagine as you breathe that your breath is actually coming in and out through your heart space, through that area, just, you know, right there. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then I want you to ask a question. And that question is, in the situation I'm in, what would be a more effective action or solution to this challenge? and write down the first couple things that come to your, in that voice. Could be anything, and see how it relates to step 1 and 2. You know, sometimes you get the weirdest things. Like, I don't know, did you guys get anything? Daniel, Alex, Justin, did something come up? Alex, you're grinning. What did you get? You don't have to share the whole story, but does it relate? Like, or is it like you're kind of going,
you know, it's
awesome.
funny. I'm like, you know, something popped in my head, and Ken, I think this is probably the ego voice, because it popped in my head, and then another voice went, no, and I went, wait, why am I saying? That's what the voice said. So let's write it down. So I just thought that was really interesting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's exactly how it works.
The way the ego works, yeah.
It's exactly how it works.
Step in and take control.
But
it's good to be aware of that. That's a good way to. That's the first step in just being acknowledging it and being aware of it.
Yeah.
And that's when you can create change.
Intuition is generally very soft-spoken, and sometimes it will appear irrelevant. You know, I've done this exercise many times with a lot of different people, and I think some of the funnier ones are the more intriguing. You know, they're bristling with something, and it will say, like, go to the Humane Society, and they're not talking about pets or cats or people or anything, and they're like, all right, and they do, and they meet the person that they're meant to meet for the next leg of their journey, and they're like, whoa, that's so weird. That was not even on my radar. I would not have thought of that. So after you start practicing it for a while, that inner voice wants to guide you to the path of least resistance for you to maximize your life. And so I just share this because this particular exercise, you can do it for anything, and it's pretty easy to practice at home. You don't need anybody to do anything. Just ask the question and see what the voice says. So thank you.
I'll share one more thing, which is something we've all experienced, which is, how many times have you been in a situation where you're like, I knew that, I knew it, and you didn't do something that but you knew inside you should have done it. You knew it. You like, but that 20/20 hindsight. Yeah. Make notes of those times, because the more you recognize it, the more you'll be able to catch it in the moment.
Exactly. The tricky thing is being able to tell the difference between when you should be listening and when it's impulse. And that's a big thing. Is, you know, you have to know what is actually just an impulse, and your body just, you know, sees, I don't know, sweets or something that traditionally your body just for some reason is drawn to, even though it's not necessarily good for you in the moment. You know, yeah, that's a big one, is like, so the more you allow yourself to just get comfortable and be in that natural space of listening to your body, the more you'll be able to hone in on the different types of kind of voices, right?
Yeah.
What's impulse,
I love it.
What's the logical side of your brain, what's overthinking. Sometimes there's like a stressful part of your, you know, that ego that's like, you know, constantly just throwing facts out there and stuff. Or that, you know, that kind of like wise voice. That's, you know, that mystical, just little, you know, that intuition.
Exactly. So for those of you who are out there who love this intuition stuff and you want to practice even more and get deeper and figure out stuff, we have some books that we can recommend. Kent and I we've taught courses on intuition, and these 3 books in particular that you see on your screen have been super amazing. Kent, you want to talk about the first one really quick? And
Trust Your Gut, I read about 12 years ago, actually, when I was with my company with A. Smith & Co., when we were transitioning into another level, and I was having a hard time deciding what direction we were going to go in, and it ended up being a very centering way for me to get focused on what we were going to do. Blink is an amazing book, and everybody should read it. It's a really small book, a really short read, and it just talks about how, you know, literally, if you ask the question, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? In the blink of an eye, basically. And then Lindsay and I
I'll talk about, becoming supernatural. What I love about it is it kind of relates to Justin's comments about spidey sense. We all have this superpower of using intuition and some other amazing skills as human beings. And so I love this book in particular because it does help you think about how you might have some additional superhero powers that you might not have practiced all that much. So it's one of my favorites, and Dr. Joe is a pretty cool guy. So I would recommend it.
Great.
Cool. So
All right.
That's what we wanted to talk about relative to intuition. Do you guys have any other things you want to add, or any last minute thoughts that come to your mind intuitively? Gotta
Yeah,
say
so,
that.
by the way, I just had to jump up. So we have fireworks here, and my dog does not like the fireworks at all. So I was trying to coax him in so that he could be with me. He usually like hangs out under my legs when he hears fireworks. You know, he like looks for his comfy place. It's like a little cave under my desk.
Awesome.
But the bathtub is like a close second. So he's in the bathtub right now. So I went to go check on him. It's like, you know, it's like a cave in there. So he just likes to, anyway. So
Oh,
yeah,
well,
if we hear him stirring around, I might have to attend to him. But
that's great, Justin.
yeah,
That's
I mean,
real life. You know,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
life.
you know,
That's good.
It's totally cool.
there are so many examples that I have, that like little ones of like listening to, you know, just kind of, you know, following my gut. And again, it's like more of just a practice of feeling comfortable in your own skin, that confidence of your own, just what you, so there are all the things that people will like kind of tell you you should be striving for, right? Like lofty positions and, you know, just going through certain steps that are kind of set out in advance, right? And I think they're good as a general guideline, as a general way to go for the most part, like if you're not sure. But you have to be kind of tuned into these great opportunities that present themselves along the way and be able to deviate. And that's when you kind of override. You think, okay, wait, I know that seems like the right path. That's what's like on the map. That's what everybody says works, but I don't know. It just doesn't for some reason. It's just not 100% where my heart is right now. And you have to be okay to do that. And yeah, so it's just, you know, what helps me do that. I was hoping to just give some tips to hopefully inspire some people to kind of get into this mindset where they feel more happy and more kind of on their path. For me, it's just spending more time in that space. So when I'm working like crazy and I'm just like head down, grinding away, doing tons of work, it's easy to kind of lose that almost, right? Because you have to, when you have tasks to do, when you're task minded and it's just like, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. It's almost the opposite of listening to your intuition. So there are times for it. You have to like sometimes turn it on, but you have to remember to turn on the like intuition switch sometimes, or like to turn off the work switch and just be yourself. So that's one thing that I found to be really helpful. Spending time with friends and people that you love, huge. And like with my dog, I mean, there's nobody less judgmental than your dog, who's your best friend, right? So you can spend time. I hang out with my dog Archer, and I just find myself like acting like a kid. Like we're wrestling around, and I'm just like being myself, and like I'll have ideas. We'll be playing in my backyard. It's part of the reason I picked backyard for the pick is, you know, now that we're home, I'm in this backyard all the time. That's my original Ninja Warrior rack back there. I call it the Warrior rack. Been upgraded, I want to say probably 3 or 4 dozen times. But anyway, we kind of just hang out in here, and I get ideas, and I feel good about myself and about my kind of path, and more kind of, you know, tuned in to what I personally want to do when I'm in that free space, that creative space sometimes, or when I'm creating music. We were talking about this a little bit before we joined together. You know, I'm a musician, Daniel's a musician. When you're in that like just kind of space where you can be yourself, that also helps as well. Hopefully that helps some of you guys, you know.
That's awesome. Yeah, no, that flow state is definitely a part of listening to your intuition and just entering the field. So I totally appreciate all of you for having amazing stories and examples on this one.
You want to ask Alex one question about
oh yeah, okay.
his transition from being a host
Yeah.
on the behind the scenes version of American Ninja Warrior Crash the Course, which won a reality TV award, by the way. That's best show, best digital. But how did you? I mean, your path was more broadcast and host and you know a speaker and a talker, and I think that I find it very interesting how you decided to become a Ninja Warrior, because the time commitment as we know is a lot, and it's a bit of a life change. I mean, was there instinct involved with that? Was there intuition involved with that, or what was driving you?
I thanks for asking that. I appreciate that, and it's you know, and I've said this to Kent, and I'll say it to everyone now. Each chapter of American Ninja Warrior has been life transformative every single step of the way. And that one, which Kent is describing, you know, when we won Best Digital Series, which I'm looking at it on my desk right now, and you know, that's when I really had gotten a lot into speaking, which was to Daniel's point. My intuition was just, I used to coach high school sports a lot. And I just really felt called to that. And then I loved the sport. That was the thing, was I really had fallen in love with the sport of it and with the athletes and with the community. So I loved just being there. And I remember one day at Ninja Beach down in Santa Monica, I was like, you know, training around, and Flip, I don't think he would remember this, but Flip, I like did, you know, a move, and Flip was like, so when are you going to compete? And that, I was like, wait, Flip thinks that maybe I could do this. And I remember just thinking, okay, why wouldn't I do it? I wouldn't do it because I'm scared that I might fail at this, because let's look factually, there's been a lot. But that's not, again, that's ego. That's like what Ken is saying, it's ego. And I love this sport so much. And I just wanted to give everything I had to it. And that hasn't changed. So every step of it has been transformative and daunting, but so in love with it.
Awesome.
That's great.
That's so great. Well, I think it's time to move on to our next topic. And I just want to remind everybody who's out there that we will be sharing the winner of the Cold Water Challenge later and announcing our next week's challenge. So stay tuned for that. But before we dive all into that fun stuff, I think it's time to hear from the Wizard of Kent.
Thank you, Lindsay.
And I think it's going to be a really fun topic tonight to hear about biohacks, and I'm taking notes, just so you know.
Well, before we get into the top 3 biohacks that I use, I want to just kind of give you guys an overview of what biohacking is. So some of our audience may not know what biohacking is. And biohacking basically means coming up with hacks for your biology, for your body, for your health, that improve your health and optimize your health and optimize your performance. And there are a lot of hacks. I mean, there are dozens and dozens. And this has been going on for almost the last decade now. And I've been studying for the last 8 years. And I think the godfather of biohacking was probably Dave Asprey with Bulletproof Diet originally. And then he has the Bulletproof Upgrade Labs. And of course, you've got Ben Greenfield, who's very popular in it. Tony Robbins is a big biohacker. And there's several others. And everybody uses all kinds of different equipment. You've got cryotherapy chambers, you've got LED light beds, you have electromagnetic frequency, mats, and there's lots of equipment out there. And there's lots of toys and stuff like that. Some are very expensive, some not so expensive. But there are a few hacks that you can do in your life that don't cost anything, but will really up-level your performance and up-level your health. And I'm curious from our ninjas here what they do in their lives, because you can't just be normal and just do the normal routine that everybody else does. You must incorporate something in your own lives.
Nope.
Not one.
That's true. It's true.
Okay.
I gotta say, like every ninja's like got some crazy thing going on. Like, yeah. It's just, ninjas are crazy.
Well, what about you, Daniel?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And actually, let me start by sharing something really, really, truly funny. I was telling my mom about today's Ninja Talks event, and she was really excited. And I said, yeah, Mom, tonight's topic, we're going to be talking about, biohacking, and I'll be one of the guys talking about it. And at first, she looked at me and she was like, what do you mean, Daniel? Are they like making fun of you? Like calling you like a hack? Like, what is that all about? And I was like, whoa, calm down, Mom. No, it's not like a hack. Like she was like, are they saying you're cheating, Daniel? Like you're cheating ninja? I was like, no, Mom, not
It's a cult.
Kind of
it's a
hacking.
cult. Yeah.
I said, it's like hacking for your fitness. Like what things that do I do to help, edge people out and get myself to the healthiest version of myself as possible. And it was so funny. And I was like, Mom, I'm going to share that story now. So thank you. So I hope you guys enjoy it. It was hilarious. But for me in my life, there's quite a few different things that I do that I don't see too many other people that I know doing. One of them, any of my ninja friends will tell you, at anytime I compete and anytime I'm training during the day, even today, I take naps. I'm a very advent power napper. So if you ever see me competing, we used to film the shows overnight. So between like 9 p.m. and like 6 a.m. And so when we'd go there for Ninja Warrior competitions, we'd go through the walkthrough, I'd see the obstacles, I'd begin to get a mental like visualization in my head about how I would do it. And then I would go back to the tent or the waiting area, wherever we are, and I'd put my headphones in, put like a visor on my face, and I would just close my eyes. And I would rest and I would fall asleep, because usually we're there for hours and we have a number of when we know we're going to run. So I would know when to do that. But I love taking power naps. This afternoon, in fact, I took a quick 40-minute power nap, because sometimes you're not always in control of how much sleep you can get in an evening. For instance, this morning I had to get up and I had to go out earlier today than normal. And so I knew, okay, later in the afternoon, to try to make up for that sleep, or at least to have a productive rest of the day, I'm going to take a quick power nap. And so I do that. I incorporate those naps everywhere that I go. All of my friends, all of my family will tell you that I can sleep anywhere. Airplanes, sitting in the backseat of a car, sitting at a Ninja Warrior competition. I can sleep anywhere. And it's been hugely beneficial for me just in the rest and in the recovery, especially mentally on long days like competition days where we're there for like 12 hours. It can be very draining mentally and emotionally. And so if I just close my eyes, whether it's 5 minutes or 10 minutes, 15, 20, whatever I can get, naps have been a huge, huge help for me in my life. Now, if you're able to get 8 hours of sleep, 8.5 hours of sleep every night, you won't need naps. And that's great. That's awesome. But for those of you who have busier lives or just have different schedules and you're tired and you're feeling the fatigue, throw in a power nap every day if you can. That's
very good. Very good advice. And
Totally.
a lot of CEOs of major corporations do napping. Although it's very well documented. And you talk about taking like a nap in the afternoon. A lot of people, when they hit that lull in the afternoon, especially at work, rather than go for a cup of coffee, a 15-minute nap will do the same thing or better. It actually will be better for you. You'll wake up revived, because just before you go too deep of a sleep in 15 minutes, but you come out fully rested, because it's. So I hear you, Dan. That's awesome.
Agreed.
Anybody else want to share?
Power naps. I'm in.
You got a favorite hack, Alex?
I'm like, sweet. This is a biohack I can really get behind.
I'm a napper too, by the way, Daniel. Yeah.
What?
I'm a napper as well, so.
Me too. It's good. That's really good.
One of mine is, they're all like fairly, I think, just good reminders that we are, a creature, and treating ourselves like that sometimes, I think, gets overlooked in the hustle and bustle. So hydration is one thing. Like I'll wake up in the morning and drink 8 ounces of water, and then throughout the day, some days I'll notice like, wow, I'm dragging, or I'm hungry, but I just ate a while ago. Why am I hungry? And I can only word it like I'll drink some water and I can kind of feel like a wilted flower kind of like coming back to life. And another one I'll give is, and I know everyone in this call can relate to this, not really being able to afford getting sick, in addition to how much it just, is not a great experience to go through. It kind of robs you of some time. So apple cider vinegar and oil of oregano. I've found 3 drops of that will, again, it's not the most fun, but yeah, that'll get you right. Yeah.
Absolutely. That stuff's good.
Tell me about the benefits of, tell our audience, I should say, about the benefits of like Bragg's or apple cider vinegar and oil of oregano.
Yeah, it's supposedly one of the most cleansing things that you can do for your body. And I'll usually do it first thing. So I'll wake up, drink 8 ounces of water, and then put cayenne, which kind of wakes you up and gets your metabolism going, and then the apple cider vinegar and oil oregano just like 2 times a week, because it is pretty intense. But I'll do that and let that just kind of operate in my system for about 15 minutes before anything else. And it's, tomorrow morning, I promise you put some cayenne and apple cider vinegar, and just like Ken's saying, it's a great alternative to coffee. It'll definitely jumpstart the system.
Definitely. I'll share one quick thing about oil of oregano too. It's intense. So anybody who's listening out there, just a few drops is all you need. That stuff is really intense.
Yeah, my wife and I have it in a capsulated form.
There you go.
Very potent otherwise.
It's very potent. And but it's so good. It actually, if you're starting to feel a cold coming on, That stuff is like zinc. It's magical in terms of helping you fight off whatever's coming on. So that's great.
Very cool.
I've never tried it. I'm gonna try that. I wish I could try the naps. I gotta say, it's like I said, it's a superpower. I wish I could nap during the day sometimes. I just can't do it. Do you have any tips for like what does your mind go through? Do you just naturally
nap?
Yeah, just naturally nap. What do I tell my brain to do that?
Just rest. Just rest. Tell your brain it's okay to stop working for a little bit.
It's like, no, the sun's out. You're up. That's it.
I think it's good. It's actually a good topic, Justin. We're going to be talking about that a little bit later. We actually have a little exercise that we're going to do to help you rest and quiet your brain. And it takes about 3 minutes, and that'll set you in a state where you'll be ready for your nap.
All right. I have one little biohack thing. Exercise. I'm sure you guys can all agree as well. Sometimes you can't put your finger on exactly what's throwing you off. I noticed, because I spent a lot of time at a desk doing work, that if I lose track of my time and I end up doing that so much that I don't get, 1, sunlight, and 2, active release, actually be active, it totally kind of drains my body. It way less energy and less like positive. Really, I just feel better about things. I'm in a better mood. And just kind of the world is more clear, and I just feel better when I exercise. And so that's one thing where your body, sometimes you can't listen to your body sometimes because your body's like, wait, I'm tired, don't exercise, or I just worked a long day, you really don't want to go to the gym. Well, this is where it becomes really like important to know the difference between like just being kind of like that lazy side of your brain that just wants to take a nap, or not take a nap, but like go to sleep instead of work out, like, right? Because you do want to take a nap sometimes. But that part of your brain that's like, no, I don't want to work out. That's a lot of work right now. I'm tired. It's the end of the day. And the other part that's like, no, remember, you need this. Anyway, if I kind of force myself to get into a habit of even just running for 10 minutes or 15 minutes, doing my usual routine of pull-ups and push-ups, throwing together a few obstacles and just getting loose, I all of a sudden get energy. You'll get energy in the moment. You could feel like you're ready to fall asleep, and then you get active for a little while, and all of a sudden you have a second wind. And then the next day you also feel way better, because every day that your body's stagnant, your body has a use it or lose it system, right? So if you're not using it, you're going to lose it. Your body knows that it doesn't necessarily need to store that energy. Maybe you don't need to be as active, right? You're kind of telling your body, well, you don't need to work out, right? Because you didn't do anything recently. But the more you get into the habit, the more your body's like, oh, okay, we need more energy. We need more muscle. We need to feel good so that we can do this more often. So anyway, that's my little biohack, is just make sure, even if I don't really want to, I squeeze in a workout.
Cool. Well, it's based on Einstein's theory of relativity, right? A body in motion tends to stay in motion. A body at rest tends to stay at rest. So it's very true for all of us. And then when you're in motion, you create more motion, and you feel better about it as well. So
absolutely.
Do you have a question from one?
We have a question from the audience. It's actually directed at Daniel from Dana. She wants to know, what are you doing differently this year in your training since you came so close last year? And I thought it was really relevant to the biohacking conversation. Is there something that you're trying out differently this year, or, just share?
Yeah, no, of course. And I mean, it's interesting because the show American Ninja Warrior is so unique in a sense that it is both, extremely difficult athletic competition. It's the world's toughest obstacle course, but at the same time, it's also a production. Like we're filming a television show that's going to be, produced and then televised on TV. And so for me as an athlete, I had spent so much time last year training for just the overall strength to accomplish each of those courses, each one progressively harder than the next one. You got stage 1, 2, 3, then 4. But one thing I didn't realize could even be a possibility of happening is the fact that sometimes those courses are done right after each other, and there isn't as much rest period. So for me, to answer the question, this year, the way that I've trained hasn't been much different in a sense of what I'm doing to train, like the physical elements to it, like the pull-ups, the push-ups, a lot of climbing. But what I'm doing is I'm now getting myself, I'm pushing the limits of my power endurance. So how many moves I can make in a certain amount of time to force a huge pump in my forearms, like how I physically felt after finishing stage 3 last year, and then giving myself a very minimal period of rest time before doing it again. Because in most competitions, I mean, it's usually like one course at a time. You give everything that you've got, and then your tank is empty and you're done. But in some competitions like last year and then in other ones I've been at, you finish one very difficult course only to go right into the next extremely difficult course. So for me, I'm training my my power endurance to be able to put 100% output in a short amount of time, give myself a very brief period of rest, and then doing it again. So ultimately it's greater endurance in grip and forearm and upper body. So that's kind of what I'm doing to focus, and still fingers crossed and praying that something works out this year. But if not this year, then I'm got my sights set on 2021.
There you go.
Nice. Woohoo!
Thank you, Daniel.
That's
Absolutely.
good.
I want to share with you my 3 biohacks that I mentioned earlier. And they're derived from a whole list of biohacks. And I just want to focus on 3 because these are very easy, very attainable from everybody. And the 3 are sunlight and earthing, sleep optimization, and hot and cold therapy. And I'll talk briefly about each one real quick. These are things you can do every day in your life. On sunlight and earthing, everybody needs to get sunlight every day. And the benefits of sunlight are enormous. I mean, we all know about vitamin D, of course, but it produces nitric oxide, which is for better circulation in our bodies, which creates blood flow in our bodies. We get increased energy through mitochondrial production of ATP, which is the energy of our bodies. That's the energies, that's where energy comes from. And of course, we get to boost our immunity through sunlight and detoxifies us as well. The thing is that, none of us, because of the way the society is based right now, very few people are getting out in the sun. And if you can get up in the morning and get sunlight first thing in the morning, before you go to your computer, before you turn on your phone, if you roll out of bed and just don't touch your phone, and go right outside, get a little sunlight for 5 minutes, touch the ground with your feet. Cement is actually is grounding as well because it conducts. It's a conductor. But if you can touch the grass or the sand or something, you will restore the electron balance in your body because we are basically from the earth, and so that's very important to do that. Try and get 2 to 3 hours of sunlight a day. It will make a huge difference in your energy levels, and your immune system will be stronger. You'll feel healthier, you'll have more energy. And just getting out in nature and touching earth, like I said before, grounding and touching makes a huge difference in your life. These are simple things that you can do.
Yeah, and I just have to share, I've been doing this since you gave me the heads up. I moved to Florida, 18 months ago or whatever, and I just got to tell you, as a Seattleite growing up in all kinds of cold weather, and it's cold, gray, and cloudy most of the time, being here, this has changed my complete attitude, and kind of the whole energy field that I live in on a day-to-day basis is just amped up. And it's this little trick of stepping outside and getting in the sunlight first thing in the morning. My circadian rhythm is in a whole other world. So I just love that. So thank you for sharing that piece as well. And
Yeah,
I didn't interrupt, but it was great stuff.
There's another important part of it too that I heard, that there are some vitamins that your body actually is incapable of taking in, of using, unless you have vitamin D. There are certain vitamins that actually won't really be absorbed properly unless you have other vitamins. Vitamin D is one of them. So if you get natural vitamin D from sunlight, then you can take in those other vitamins, and it can actually physically make your body feel better.
Awesome.
Well, and there's some studies out there that say as much as 70% of the people are deficient in vitamin D right now.
Wow.
Big amount of people. So, there's a lot of studies about, there's regular medicine doctors that will say a certain what your level should be, but I happen to follow functional medicine doctors, which prescribe to a little bit different program. So I maintain my vitamin D levels at above 80. 75 to 80 is a really good range. I think medical doctors say about 50 is okay, but I tend to think a little bit higher is fine. It's not toxic at all. It hasn't been toxic for me. And there's a lot of studies that show that it isn't. So, but that's the vitamin D. So,
Awesome.
And I also take it with vitamin K. If I take a supplement, I'll take it with vitamin K.
Oh, that's the vitamin, I believe, right? Vitamin K doesn't get absorbed unless you have vitamin D.
Yes.
Pretty sure. Yeah. There you go. Yep.
That's cool. Nice.
So the second biohack that I do regularly, and that I basically, if I can't go without, is is my benefits of sleep, the sleep observation. And this is a new one for me, actually. I actually came from um, my background was sleep. I'm going to share this story with you real quick. I was one of these guys that didn't need a lot of sleep most of my life. I kind of was very proud of that. I don't need a lot of sleep. People that are sleeping 8 hours a day, they're missing the world. I get to enjoy more life because they're sleeping their life away. What I didn't realize was that you need sleep. You need 8 hours of sleep to restore your body, to rebuild your body, to restore brain function, and to restore muscles. And so much happens during that 8-hour cycle. There's so many things that go on during that 8-hour cycle, whether it's your gallbladder and liver working between 12 and 2 in the morning. When you get your deep sleep was when you do more restorative. Your REM sleep is for your brain. There's so much that happens in that time. And you usually go through 5 cycles, 5 90-minute cycles in your sleep cycle, which makes up the 8 hours. There's a great there's a lot of good people talking about sleep right now. Dr. Mark Hyman has a series on sleep that you can Google Mark Hyman. Sean Stevenson is well-renowned.
One of my faves.
And a great speaker and great talk about sleep. And he actually was like me before, where he didn't sleep a lot. So there's a lot of good resources out there for sleep, and the science is really, really important about how we actually live longer by sleeping longer, which goes against anything I ever thought in my life. I was like, well, how could that be? And your heart rate goes down, you have a lower blood pressure, your insulin levels go down, and it's just so beneficial for you. Now, like Daniel was talking earlier, though, it's not always possible to do that. And it's actually, I'm really working on that because it's a transition period for me too. Napping is a good resource to have if you don't get the full 8 hours. 8 hours is the best, like Daniel said, but taking naps will help, restore you as well and keep your levels up. And it's, the couple of tips about that though, about sleeping. You don't want to drink coffee after 2 p.m. Even if you're not sensitive to caffeine, which I'm not, it does affect you. It affects your metabolism inside. If your heart is beating hard and your cortisol levels are higher, you can't settle into sleep properly. So that's really important. Going to sleep at the same time every night. And this is one of the things that I'm personally working on. I'm like setting up, people set an alarm to get up in the morning. I'm setting an alarm to go to bed at night now. It's like, so get in bed like a half hour before you go to sleep. Turn off computer screens, get away from phones, don't watch TV, because the blue light from all those screens prevents you from creating melatonin, which is really necessary for sleep. And so it stops it. It doesn't let it start. So you want to get away from those screens so your body can start building melatonin. As soon as the sun goes down, your body says, oh, I better start getting melatonin ready for the body to go to sleep. And we are fighting that by all this computer screens and stuff. Now, there is a couple of things you can do. Here, sorry. So you can get blue blocker glasses. So these are you can get the yellow tint and
I have some too,
or you
that
get
are
clear
plain.
tint too. And these will help block the blue light from your computer screens and your TVs and all that.
These are so amazing. I love these.
It's not that blue light is bad, because there's blue light in the sun. It's just you don't need it at night. Right? There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. We're all putting on our blue blockers right now. That's great.
The other thing that's very important is to try and sleep in a dark room, which is not always achievable. But I know people that go to great efforts to create a black room, to basically like totally darken the room out, whether it's, blackout curtains and, eye masks work. But there's some studies that show that light even on their toes creates a metabolic, change. So it's not enough just to do the eye mask. So complete darkness is the best, and those are probably the best. That's the ideal scenario to work towards. But the benefits are enormous, and you will see it after 1 week of doing it.
That's what's
Only
cool.
1 week, you'll start waking up feeling amazing. Especially if you start with a cold shower, which is our next topic.
Oh yes, the cold shower topic.
So cold therapy we talked about last week, and we're going to reveal the winner of the cold shower challenge last week. But the benefits of hot cold therapy are that it stimulates the vagus nerve, which is the nerve that, the parasympathetic and the sympathetic nerve, obviously. So, and what it does is it turns on the parasympathetic response, which is the relaxing calmness, relief stress and anxiety, which is our sympathetic response, and also boosts our immune system. So it's a great practice to get into. I know some of the people that posted on our Facebook page, some have been practicing for 33 years. There's this yogi master that's been doing it and swears by it. And anybody that I know that's done this for any length of period of time swears by it as well. You can start slow, and some of the people on our Facebook page did so as well, and that's why we introduced the challenge. But something very hot, like a hot bath or sauna or jacuzzi, followed by a cold shower, creates that response. You can do it in the morning. First thing in the morning after your workout is great to take a cold shower. You're already hot and sweaty anyway, and doing a cold shower in the afternoon is great for you too. I know a lot of people. I swim in the ocean. You can swim in a lake or a stream that's nearby, but swimming in cold water is very beneficial for you. So that gives you an idea, just a little brief, 3 little things that you can do and take into your life, and will create change, and change that you can measurably see in a very short period of time.
Love it. I've been trying.
Did you practice cold therapy?
Yeah. Did you guys do any cold showers this week?
Oh yeah, all week long I've been taking a freeze, like as cold as my shower would go, I've been taking that, and it has been awesome. I love it. And even a couple of seasons ago, in preparation for Ninja Warrior, I lived in a complex that had the hottest hot tub I've ever been in. And so I would do my training. I would train for a while. I would jump in the jacuzzi, marinate there for a few minutes. And then right beside it, they had at the time it was winter and it was freezing outside. So then I would go jump in the water and stay in the cold water for about 5 minutes or so. And then I would alternate between those two waters. And it was amazing, the benefits on just the muscles, the anti-inflammatory effect it had on me was amazing. I loved it. And then I moved apartments and don't have a jacuzzi anymore. So now I'm like, I got to find something training.
Oh, it's no fair.
I think it's time to announce our cold water winter challenge.
I'm with you. I think we need to do it as well. This is it. Okay.
So
do we need to do a little drum roll?
Yeah, drum roll. Everybody drum roll.
Okay, drum roll. Everybody make a little drum roll. This is the cold water challenge for the week.
Okay, and the winners are the Davidson
family.
Play their video and show everybody the video that they posted.
It was so cute. Look at that breathing. That is exactly what it's like in the cold water shower.
Oh my God. Well, congratulations, Davidson family, and thank you for submitting it. And you guys can continue to submit your cold water challenges and keep it up. I mean, we would love to see the posts, and we want to share your stories, your successes, and hear from you, your benefits and your results, how you feeling on it. So
yeah, it was so much fun to look at your posts, everybody. And thanks for bringing that on. And we do have a new challenge for you for this week, something that's near and dear to all of us. And it's actually a brain go challenge. So think bingo, only brain go. So,
bingo.
Brain go. We have partnered up with Remember, the brain food company that's based in San Diego, California, and they are going to be hosting a 21-day brain go challenge starting in June. But we beat them to the punch, and they said we could do it this week just to get warmed up. So the object is to either take a picture of this on your screen, or you can download it at our Ninjas Thrive site. Facebook
and you play it just like bingo, right?
And you play it just like bingo. Your job is to pick something in a line or in an X or something. And if you're just an overachiever, do them all, because all these things are in support of a healthy brain and a healthy mind. And that's what we're really here to do.
And you notice that the center square is to post your results.
Post those results.
It can be results or progress in the Ninja Thrive Facebook page.
Bring it on back.
And that's pretty much the only way to complete. I guess you can go 5 across the other way. Yeah,
you can go 5. You can go any way you want, but we'd love for you to get the free space and do the post, because the winner is going to get not only a ninja mask that thanks to Lisa and Lori, who we'll talk about a little bit later, but you will also receive the very first Remember Brain Food bars when they come out in July. So this is a brand new company, and this is a whole new product for all of us. So enjoy the week and do some brain go, and we'll be sharing our winner next week.
And I think our ninjas are going to get some Remembers too when they come out too. So
absolutely. And you guys have to remember everything. And
yeah.
I thought this was really cool in alignment with Memorial Day. You know, this is a day to remember all those who went before us who were heroes. So, yeah. So thank you. Remember Brain Food. We really appreciate you. And ninjas, we'll get you some of those bars as well.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So,
thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
We'd like to take, I said earlier that we were going to do this relaxing breathing exercise. It's only about 3 minutes long, but I think it's a good way for everybody. It's something you can practice every day in your home if you want to just figure out a way to relax very easily. So can we play that video? This is from Marissa Peer, who is an amazing... Well, here she goes.
Another way to relax, and this is my favorite way. Just watch what I'm doing. Look up. Keep your eyeballs up. Keeping your eyeballs up, close your eyelids down. That's the position your eyes go into when you sleep. If you come along someone who's asleep and lift up their eyelids, you'll find that you just have whites because our eyes roll up when we sleep. If you want to relax, go into that sleep position. Here's how you do it. Let's do it again. Look up. Keep your eyeballs up. Close the eyelids down. Drop the chin. And just say, relaxation is coming to me. Relaxation is coming to me. Relaxation is descending upon me. It's covering me like a mist. You can do that any time at all. If you want to make it even more intense, let's do it again. Feet apart, knees apart, hands apart. Look up. And this time breathe in. Keep looking up. Breathe out. And again, breathe in, keep your eyes looking up, breathe out. And just one more time, breathe in. Keep those eyes looking up, hold it. And this time as you exhale, keep your eyelids up, but simultaneously close your eyelids right down. And as you close your eyelids down, drop your chin down. And just imagine you're looking down 10 wooden steps going down to the sand, maybe 10 beautiful steps cut into grass, maybe 10 wonderful stone steps going down to a river. And just mentally take those steps, see your feet taking step 10, hear your feet connecting to that beautiful step 9, feel your feet touching, step 8. As you take step 7, just let yourself go. As you take step 6, just breathe deeply. As you take step 5 and you're halfway down, just look at the beach or the meadow or the water. As you take step 5 and 4, just allow each muscle to turn loose and let loose as you relax. As you take step 3 and 2, relax more. Take step 1 and just allow yourself to relax. Quiet your mind. And while you're keeping your mind on the beautiful stone steps, the wonderful grass steps, the sandy steps, whatever steps you're keeping your mind on, while you're keeping your mind on relaxation, feeling your feet on the steps, hearing the birds sing, the water trickle, feeling the warmth of the sun on your skin. Be like a battery, recharge. Take your time. You'll work better if you can take some time for you.
I can't listen to that and not be relaxed, Ken. So, that was amazing. I love Marissa's work. It's
great.
So good.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that home, and you can find Marissa Peer on YouTube or marissapeer.com as well. And she's wonderful. She's a good friend and an incredible therapist. She's England's #1 therapist in the world. She teaches an amazing program called RTT, Rapid Transformational Therapy, which is taking over the whole therapy community. So we want to also give a shout out to Lisa Holmes at 2 International Gifts for kindly providing all our ninjas with the Ninja Warrior masks. Justin, Daniel, and Alex will all get theirs shortly. I apologize for not having them to you for tonight, but I think the holiday weekend got us a little bit. But
we're distant enough right now. It's okay.
Perfect. So feel free to click on that link to get enter the promo code Earth to get your own mask, and also check out the Ninja Warrior gear. Lisa just told me yesterday that she has a lot of American Ninja Warrior gear for this year, for 2020, the tour that never happened. And so it's kind of a collector's item in my mind. So you may want to get in there and get those while they're still last. She made enough, I think, for like one city or two cities, and but I ordered mine already because I think it'd be kind of cool to have, and everybody go, what did that city happen? Did that? No, it didn't happen. It was the tour that never happened. It's kind of like owning a rock stars, right? Tour that never happened or something.
It's super cool. Yeah.
But so thank you, Lisa, very much, and your team for providing those masks for us. We really appreciate it.
Yay,
and
Lisa.
Thank you, ninjas, for being here. You guys were amazing. I mean, I really do appreciate your insights and you guys telling us all your experiences and sharing with us, your personal feelings about things, and your tips and advice is so helpful, and I'm sure our audience is appreciating it as well. I know I learned from you guys, so that's what I love about this show, is that we all learn something. So
thank you guys. This is a great forum for it. And if anybody wants to connect, feel free to connect to us on social, or at least me. I'm throwing it out there. Feel free to connect to us on social. And happy to give more tips and stuff like that. If I can help make other people's lives better, that's just so cool. So very thankful.
Hey,
Abby, sweet.
That's awesome. Hi, Abby.
Couldn't go the whole episode without bringing in my better half.
I just wanted to say hi to everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Abby.
We're glad you joined us. Thanks for popping in, literally. That's so amazing.
Yeah, I was listening the whole time. Everything y'all said has been really cool. I even did the breathing exercise with you guys on the side over here. That was awesome. That was so relaxing.
I know, it's good. Very good. Awesome. Well, it's been a really fun night. I'm so grateful for all of you. And don't go anywhere yet, because the Q&A for our VIP members is about to take place. But before we jump there, I want to announce what we're doing next week. So our next Ninja Talks is on Monday night, as usual. And we've got featuring Lance Pekus, Mathis the Kid Ohadi, Rose Wetzel, and you guys know he's the funny guy, Matt Eisman. He'll be with us next week. So join us next Monday night, same bat time, same bat channel, and same bat Facebook page, Ninjas Thrive. So we look forward to having you all there. And it looks like it's that time, Kent. It is time for the dance party. So goodbye, everybody. And
thank you, audience, for watching. We'll see you next week.
This is our break. The Q&A session. We have some people that I think want to ask you questions too, so it's totally up to you. That you can decide on, but we did get the question. Woo! All right, that's some good stuff right there. Had to move around a little bit. So we have quite a few questions for tonight, which is exciting. So I will just, I think what we're going to do is I'm going to pile in and bring one in at the beginning, so that I can bring on screen some of our participants, okay? So the first question is, Justin, can you talk a little bit about your Ninja curriculum and the Ninja coach certification?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking.
Right.
Cool.
You betcha.
Well, so first, the coach certification. All right, there's a story that goes with this. I'll try to tell it quickly. The very first time I was training for American Ninja Warrior, there were no obstacles out there, no ninja gyms. This was before most people had even really known of Ninja Warrior yet. And so I was making obstacles myself, and I started bringing them into gyms. The very first time I got a request to install obstacles, a gym owner said, "This is awesome. People love doing ninja obstacles. Can you make us some obstacles?" The very first, like as soon as that question got asked to me, my thought was, what do I need to do to set up everything so that everybody's super safe? And I said to him, yes, but I need to train all your staff. I have to show them how to set these up, take them down, what they look like when they're being used properly, not being used properly, spotting where the match should go, progressions, because, you know, people have to learn how to ramp up properly into this. And they said, even better, good, go for it. So that was where the idea started of a certification roughly 5 or 6 years ago, from that first request to install obstacles. Fast forward to today, I've done dozens of certifications, and I kept it under wraps for a long time to develop it and make it really awesome. And then last year, released it officially as Spotted. And that stands for Safe, Progressive, Obstacle Training Techniques, and the ED is for education. So Ninja Coach certification, it covers everything that you would want to know or need to know to run a good ninja program that, you know, prioritizes safety and progressions. So that's Spotted. And then the curriculum goes along with that. You could, you know, do it separately or whatever you'd want, but we have a lot of different variations of a curriculum. We have one big curriculum that's going to be coming out pretty soon that is great for any gym, and it's 10 levels. And actually, I'll go ahead and announce right now for this special little group right here, we have a very cool team of ninjas that are creating this curriculum. It's me, Lauren Ball, and Olivia Vivian creating this awesome new curriculum that's going to come out pretty soon. And we have an existing World Ninja Sport curriculum that exists, and we do custom curriculums. So I'm sorry that was a long answer. We do a lot of stuff. But if you're interested, you can feel free to reach out to me or check out the World Ninja Sport page. We have curriculums for ninja gyms, for like FEC facilities that do more like trampoline stuff and adventure stuff, and the certifications and everything to go along with it.
Awesome, Justin. That's so cool. What does it mean to be a certified ninja? Just kidding.
Really, just that you're.
I feel like I am one.
You're making sure that everything is always in the progressive, in the spirit, in the heart of ninja to move the sport forward. Really, you know.
I love it.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because I always tell everybody, you got to be in that mindset at all times. Yeah. Safety and progression, first and foremost. So, yeah.
I love it. Sweet. Okay, well, our next question is actually from Rayanne, and it's geared towards Daniel. And maybe it's Daniel and Abby. We'll see. How do you keep faith when fear seems to distance you from faith?
No, that's great. That's great. And honestly, I mean, for me, like as a Christian, there's countless stories in just the Bible about men and women who are chasing after a goal or, you know, following their gut instinct, their intuition, you know, that still small voice of what God is telling them to do. And just in the midst of complete opposition to what everything in the world is screaming around them, which is like, stop or don't, or you can't, or you're not able. And so for me, a lot of how I'm able to keep faith in everything that I do is the fact that I have so many stories and so many, I guess, like testimonies, like people's stories of them overcoming things like that, which encourages me and inspires me to continue moving forward through all the obstacles. But also I've got an amazing support system, starting with my beautiful wife, Abby, who continues to encourage me in the midst of all of the fear and the anxiety and the stress that does inevitably come to every single person that walks the face of this earth. So I've got a support system, starting with my wife, then my family, then my close friends. I've got different pastors or leaders or mentors in my life that when I feel those pangs of anxiety or fear, even if I know like my gut or my spirit's telling me like, go for it. When those thoughts and feelings come towards me, I go to my lifelines. I go to my family. I go to my friends. I go to my quiet place in prayer and meditation. I write it out. I pray about it. And that's what helps keep me grounded amidst all the different fears that come towards me. Because, I mean, I'm like every single other person on this world. Like I face the same problems as everybody else, but I've got a great support system set in place.
That's awesome, Daniel. Thank you. And I think, you know, one of the things about maintaining faith is also just a really strong belief in knowing that it's meant to be. And, you know, I think we all have those great opportunities to find that place in ourselves to know that we believe it's going to happen. Boy, could I tell you some great stories about that someday. We'll get on with that. So let me jump to the next question. Nelson, I know, can't be with us right now, but we are recording this. So Nelson, when you get back off of your airplane, you can listen to the answer to these questions that you had. He actually directed this one to Alex. He recently watched some of your TED Talks, including Start Sucking. So what's the latest thing you've sucked at, and what inspired you to try that new thing?
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. It's, you know, I thought about this and I saw it popping up because there's a few. One of them is piano, which I'm looking at it over there. And one of them is just that I've always wanted to have music in my life. You know, one thing I love about sports is it's an outlet you can really pour yourself into. And I've thought that about music. So about a year ago, I just started doing piano, and I definitely still suck, but it's degrees of it and chipping away. And the other one, because I saw this question and I want to give the real true answer, and it's not as fun. You know, I'd love to say I'm learning to juggle, but I'm bouncing back from an injury. And that is a different form of sucking, because you're like, wait, I was here, I was doing really well, and now I'm not. And I think just really understanding unemotionally to have patience and to lay the building blocks. And, to Kent's earlier point, our ego, it gets loud. It gets loud, and it doesn't pull punches. It'll let you know when you're being embarrassing or if it's frustrating or you get upset. So that's been a real test, is just having patience, knowing to just go step by step, and the sucking will eventually suck less until it's not.
Exactly. That's awesome. Anybody else have a comment on that? Because I think that's beautiful, and I love that you're learning piano. Do you play another instrument, already?
No, I played piano in like middle school, and then I was very into hockey and lacrosse, and it just kind of went by the wayside.
Yeah.
And so I regretted it, and then I said, why? This is a changeable regret. This doesn't have to be a regret. Let's
go back to it. That's
let's
awesome.
start piano.
I love it. Yeah.
The name and the whole like theme there, I think of like the saying, you lose 100% of the games you don't play, or whatever that saying is. I don't know if I butchered that, but like, you get the idea, right? It's like, yeah, you need to be okay with sucking at stuff so that you can try stuff, right? Put yourself out there.
Yeah, and the quote, you miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
There you go. That's the one.
Yeah, same thing.
That's awesome. All right, so let's go with Darwin. Darwin, do you want to ask your question, or do you want me to read it?
You can read it. It's fine.
All right, I'll read it. So say hi, Darwin. There's Darwin somewhere on your screen. He might be on page 2, but yeah, good to see you, my friend. All right, so since we're on the topic of intuition, Darwin is the kind of person who likes to plan on where to go, but then figure it out what to do when we get there, kind of on the fly, and use the intuition. A lot of people like to know exactly what they're doing before they leave the house and what they're going to do when they get there. Do you have any tips on getting other people to trust their intuition, or maybe even trust yours?
I've got a good one.
That's a good question. Go, Justin.
Don't mind. So that's the way I travel. 100% the way to go. When you travel, you don't know. I mean, the whole point of traveling is to go to experience something new. And so if you plan so much that you basically know what you're going to see, right? You go see all the things that are on your list. You're not really so open to all the newness that you could be experiencing. That's one way to look at it. An example that I would give to anybody who wanted some encouragement is in my last year of school, I graduated, and then I took a trip to Europe. And again, didn't plan like almost anything, just kind of followed my nose, right? And the first day that I got to Rome, I met a girl who was staying in the hostel with me, and she had some friends, and I'm brand new into Europe, had never been there before. And of course, there's like part of my brain, like my spidey sense is almost like, you're alone, don't just go to random places. But the other part of me like really like trusted, and now she seems like she's cool, and all right, let's go, even though she doesn't speak like 100% English or anything. Let's go for this ride. Long story short, it was one of the best decisions ever, because she introduced me to like all these Roman people. You call them Roman people? Romites? Romans, right?
Romans.
Just a Romans, yeah. I just think of like ancient Rome when I say Romans. Anyway, it was like the most amazing, just being open to the opportunity. I had nothing planned, and just being open to the opportunity to go with whatever flow was happening. We ended up going to like all these different cool places, including like an all-nighter that was under this train trestle. We go through, so we're in a cab. Nobody speaks English except for this one girl that I'm with. And we're in a cab for what seems like 2 hours down this dusty road. And I feel like, okay, I might be losing some organs tonight, but hopefully let me just pray and maybe we'll have some fun. It opens up into this like rave. And there's hundreds of people everywhere. There's a bridge that goes across with a train trestle, and it's a rave all night. And it was just one of the most fun, awesome experiences of my life. And I would never want to miss something like that because I planned to go to the museum the next morning and I didn't want to stay out late, right? So, yeah, one of the greatest experiences then. I mean, that was just the first night. And then like the rest of the trip was also amazing. It was just kind of being open and not planning. I think that's the beauty of life. If you planned everything and you did everything that was in like your agenda, I don't know how awesome that would be. I mean, that's mostly me. Maybe some people like that comfort of like planning a lot, but I think it's better on the other side.
Yeah.
I agree. Thank you.
Me too. Thank you. That's a great question, Darwin.
It's also okay to plan things as long as you're willing to accept and surrender when it changes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's good.
Definitely. I also think too, it's a little bit of a question about trust, and the people who are going with you on an adventure like that, where you want to follow the intuition. Sometimes you have to set it up with the expectations ahead of time to just say, hey, we're going on a little adventure and you're going to have to trust my intuition. In my family, we used to call it follow the finger, and somebody was the finger and they got to point which way we were going to go. And everybody had to follow. And it was very fun. And we had to trust that wherever that person was leading is where we were going. So
Thank you. Appreciate that.
yeah, for sure. You're welcome. Okay, so our next question is aimed at Daniel. It was from Nelson. He's again on an airplane. We missed you and your power naps at this weekend's Ultimate Backyard Warrior. COVID-19 permitting, will we see you go for the 50,000 over Labor Day?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
This weekend, sent my love, my prayers to everybody. Seemed like an amazing event, like always. And Abby and I will, Lord willing, we'll be there for the Labor Day weekend competition this year.
Nice. I'm sure Nelson will love that, and all your fans will also say the same. Okay, here's a question back to Justin. Justin, what does your intuition tell you? Will we be back in Australia for the Ninja Challenge League finals this year?
Yes. Awesome. Oh boy, I hope so. I mean, that was another example. I could just talk all day about like examples, so cut me off when I'm just rambling and I have too many stories. But last year, I had been planning on going to Australia for years, and I didn't get a chance to go. It just didn't happen. And last year I was like, all right, it might jeopardize some things in my life, but I'm going to plan to go. I'm going for a few weeks. I'm going to enjoy it. I'm just like, it's time. I have to do it. And I had a full-time job at the time. I had World Ninja Sport. So at the time I hadn't left my full-time job to invest in World Ninja Sport or my certification and things like that. Long story short, I booked this trip to Australia. It was incredible. I met Nelson out there, and we competed and met so many cool people. So I would love to go back. I said like the second day there, I'm like, I got to make this a yearly trip. So I think it's potentially in our future, but that could just be me like wishful thinking.
Oh, well, it sounds
next for sure. And yeah, we'll do it together, man.
That's awesome. Sounds really fun. Okay, our next question is going to come live from Krista Williams. Krista, I'm going to unmute you here, I think, or at least ask you to unmute so that you can ask the ninjas directly your question.
Hi everyone. My question is around biohacks. I am 49 years old. In the last year, I've lost 30 pounds since I started training ninja. And I was wondering if there are biohacks for muscle gain. I don't gain muscle very fast. And I still have about 20 pounds to lose to get to a good weight. So any biohacks or supplements you take, and then for supplements, when do you take them? Like I see on the package some you take before or after, and I never really know when to take things or like when to eat before or after.
Cool.
Yeah.
I bet everybody has their own little recipe, right? So it's like, oh, well, let's hear from a couple of you. Alex, you want to take a whack and then see what?
Yeah, well, first things first, what I'm most excited about, Daniel, you have now the second best hair on this video. Krista, I love your hair. It's so awesome. It's such a great question. I think timing really is big. And if your primary goal is building muscle, I mean, collagen protein is a really great way, especially Ninja. It's just, Ninja definitely breaks you down. So collagen is a great way to build up muscle and also kind of some tissues in between. So if you can get that in your system pretty much within 15 minutes. So when you go to the gym, just have it in a shaker, and right when you finish, put water in there and get that in there. I'd also be mindful, and it sounds odd, but I really wouldn't do that much cardio, and I'd really focus more on lifting and doing, pull-ups and push-ups. Because if your goal is muscle building, that would actually be more constructive of that, and cardio can sometimes break it down even.
Okay.
That's true. I would just add to that, though, you do want to burn calories, and the cardio could burn the calories pretty quickly. So maybe a mix, right? But yeah, I agree. Yeah, you're going to stack muscle more if you do like the heavy lifting stuff, 100%.
You could also get your cardio with HIIT programs, high intensity workouts. So you don't have to go for I used to be a triathlete, so I used to work out 4 hours a day and, run, 5-10 miles and bike for 20 miles and swim for 3 miles. And it tears down your body over time. So I'm over 50 and I'm still working on gaining muscle all the time. Alex pointed out one of the number one ways that I maintain or gain muscle is through collagen. I take collagen every day.
Okay.
And collagen powder in my coffee, in my smoothie, in my green shake. And then you can take protein powder too as a supplement. So to build muscle, you need protein. And as we get older, we're going to lose muscle unless we keep the protein intake up. And collagen is really good for our joints as well, and keeping them fluid and stuff. So those are the two best things. And then doing lifting, you don't have to lift necessarily heavy weights. You just have to strain the muscles so that they go to failure. And you can do that with either heavy weights. You don't have to do like lots of repetitions. There's lots of studies out there right now about doing slow weight lifting with just taking weights and just doing like one repetition. Is almost like isometric training. You could do a push-up with a band and do one rep and get just as much work as if you did 20 push-ups. Just as much benefit, I should say. You do pull-ups. You could do pull-ups with weights. So if you're at a stage now where you can do 5 pull-ups, get up to doing at least 6 pull-ups, and then start adding weights. You can add 5 pounds, add 10 pounds, and gradually, but just do 6. If you get 6 reps and adding weights, you'll build muscle really quickly. Because I have tons of these because I'm in your shoes because I'm over 50, so I'm.
And hey, Krista,
Awesome.
this is Zach following up from Ken. I'm part of the Earth.University team. I will just make one comment that without a strong foundation, without proper sleep, without a good diet, supplements aren't that effective. So I would just be mindful and careful just to not get too much. But I will say that creatine, if for muscle building purposes, is the most scientifically proven supplement out there on the planet. It's got thousands and thousands of peer reviews. So definitely look at that as well. Especially
before a workout, but you have to start slow with little amounts because you'll get very, your adrenaline will get kicked in and you'll get kind of like hyper. And so you have to be careful how much you take in the beginning. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, just
John, if you have more to comment on, put it in the chat because we have to move on to the next question. But did you get your question answered, Krista?
I got a lot of good tips. Thank you.
Okay, you're very welcome, sweetie. Okay, cool. Let's see. So I'm going to go next to Rayanne, who has a question for Daniel. How do you keep relying on God's word when you can't find the clarity of where God is leading you? What if, and I'm going to paraphrase that to, what do you do in the unknown and still believe that you can get there from here?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the quick and easy answer is just to say you trust. You trust what you're believing in. You trust who you're believing in and what you're following. And so for me, in those moments that I guess trust is tested, I mean, for me, I've got countless just verses of scripture from the Bible that I remind myself daily, just my daily scriptures that I tell myself. One of them is found in the book of Proverbs. It's chapter 3, verse 5 and 6, and it says, it was written by King Solomon at the time, thousands of years ago, the wisest man on the planet at the time. And he said to trust in the Lord with all of your heart and depend not on your own understanding, but in all of your ways acknowledge him and he'll direct your path. So for me as a Christian, as a believer, on those good days, but on those bad days, those tough days, those difficult days where my faith is tested or my trust is tested, that's when I say, okay, well, Lord, I have the answer right here in the Bible. I don't have to like look within myself. I have it here. And so I'm going to trust you. And every single moment, every single time, I have never been let down. I've let myself down plenty of times. Family and friends have and will ultimately let you down, even unintentionally at times. But I said, with my walk with God, like I've never been let down. Even the disappointments and the failures have been turned into learning experiences and growth opportunities. And then I look later into the New Testament of Scripture where Romans 8:28 says that all things can work together for good for those who love God and are called according to his purposes. So I see even the failure, or what is known as the failure of coming 3 seconds too short on last season's Ninja Warrior, I see that as an incredible opportunity to show the whole entire world that watched me come so close to that ultimate victory and fail. They see me get back up, put a smile on my face, train hard, and come back the next year. And I have zero ill will toward Drew, because in my opinion, nobody in the whole entire ninja world or community has worked harder, given more blood, sweat, or tears to the sport. So I'm like, okay, my time is coming. I got there once. I believe I can get there again. So to answer the question of trust, it's I have other lives that I can look to that give an example of trusting and it working out. I've got tons of scriptures that I can look into, and I now have countless examples from my own life of times where I trusted and things didn't look the way that they should, but they ultimately worked out in the end for my good and for the good of those around me. So
Nice.
Sorry, long-winded, but that's kind of the answer.
It's a great answer. Thank you. Well said. So we have a question actually from our Facebook group that we didn't get to earlier, and I think it's a really good question, and certainly something fun that our listeners would want to know more about. So everybody think for just a minute, what's your favorite kind of workout music? What do you listen to? What are you putting in your ears when you're working out? This is what the fans want to know. So
yeah,
anybody can start.
There you go. All right, I love hip hop music. I love hip hop.
Nice.
But also I love rap that's kind of like rock. So with the heavier instruments, because I mean honestly a lot of people listen metal. You go to a lot of gyms and you have metal blasting through the speakers, and I'm not a huge fan of it. But I love the energy. I love the feeling, just going, the intensity, the rawness of it. But guys like NF or Lecrae, I also love positive rap too, because I'm very intentional about what I put into my ears, the words that I hear. And so I love finding rap or just music that's large and fast and loud that I can relate to, that builds me up, that encourages me, that not only gives me motivation for the task at hand, lifting one more set or doing 5 more pull-ups, but also gives me vision for my future about the impact that I want to have, about how I want to use the platforms that I've been given. And so I love positive rap and hip hop and things like that.
Love it. Alex, how about you? I'm going there. What?
Hey, yeah, no, I love it, and I'm so with Daniel. Same exact thing. I'll add one thing that I tried doing this year was training with music that I really didn't like, or that was intentionally a buzzkill, because I wanted to just build up that muscle of all right, maybe not to get dependent on a hype song, or believe me, because I love putting it on, but just every now and again putting on elevator music and trying to do my hardest reps to that. So that's been kind of a fun challenge.
That's great. I love that, Alex. Thank you. Justin, how about you?
Very cool. Actually, something kind of similar. But not like stuff that I don't enjoy, but I put on stuff that I don't focus on that much sometimes. So like, honestly, like just pop music that I don't necessarily disagree with, I'll leave on because I get really, really moved by music that I love. I mean, I lose my mind. I'm the person in the pit every time. At my favorite show, like I can't control myself. So if I listen to music that I really like, my heart's racing. I'm like kind of out of my mind, you know? So I can't do that all the time. This is not an effective way to train. So I'll just put on something that is okay. It's just there, you know, and it kind of like has a beat. So I'll listen to, unless I really need to get some extra reps out, then I put on, I have a very eclectic mix of music that I listen to, mostly rock stuff, hard driving, like metalish rock stuff. So either pop or 80s stuff. I jam to all the 80s and like, yeah, pretty much the whole like 80s for the most part, at least the stations. Like if you put on like 80s pop or whatever, or like all 80s, it's all just like chill. It's like I'll listen to, there's a station that's called, what is it? Yacht music or something? Yacht rock. It's like every song that you would imagine to hear on your yacht, you know, and there's like a guy who like talks like he's, you know, like he owns his yacht, and it's hilarious. It's like all the 80s like feel good. It's the Guardians of the Galaxy soundtrack, basically.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so it's amazing. So I also jam out to that. It puts me in a really good mood, especially when I'm doing balance, because I get just kind of like flowy. Yeah.
I love that. That's so good. I have to go. If you don't mind, Kevin, can you unmute yourself? I'm just really curious now. What do you listen to? Kevin Bull, everybody. He was on last week's webisode. Tell us your musical stylings for workouts.
Thank you. I mean, I sometimes I do like to listen to music when I work out for fun, but for me, I see the music a lot of the time as a distraction, because what it does is it takes over like part of your brain that I think I use to listen to what my body is trying to tell me while working out. So in most of my workouts, I avoid music on purpose because I want to listen fully to what's going on with me and push myself as far as I can. Sometimes it helps you to like kind of ignore what your body's telling you, but in general, I want to know where that is and push it.
That's a hot tip. Thanks, Kevin. Very good. So I have one last question here, and then I know that Zach wanted to share a little bit more information from our Facebook group. So this is the question from Sarah Brown. I've seen a lot of ninjas on social media do cryotherapy as a recovery tool. What exactly are the benefits of cryotherapy, and how often should you do it as a serious athlete? You guys have any suggestions on that? They're smiling.
Yeah, no, I've done cryotherapy a bunch of times, several times, especially while training, like after I get the phone call that I'm going to compete, and I ramp up my training even harder. And so the way that it was explained to me was that, you know, when you step into that chamber and you're there for anywhere from like 2.5 to 3.5 minutes or so, I mean, it brings your body's core temperature down, and it causes your body to almost go in a state of, what was the word they used? It's like survival mode. Yeah. And so brings kind of the blood flow from your extremities, recirculates it back through the center, through your heart, so that when you step out, your body says, okay, now I need to warm up the extremities. And so it like reoxygenates the blood that then goes back out to your extremities. So it's like you get a boost of health throughout your blood. So it brings it out, recirculates it, sets it back in, and helps with a quicker recovery. Now, honestly, I can't tell that much of a difference from when I've done it. It's more, even the people there, they're like, unless you're doing it, you know, regularly, or unless you're working out to the point of like exhaustion and your muscles are just totally destroyed, it's more of something like supplements. You take it, you're not going to feel like an instant relief or an instant life-changing thing, but it is doing something internally that is bettering your health.
Cool.
I used a lot of ice baths when I was in college, which was before cryotherapy, and I think it's pretty similar. So I think it may have other benefits beyond this, but the one that I'm most familiar with is that it reduces the inflammation and also the blood flow, like Daniel said, but most of that is geared towards preventing injuries from repetitive movement. So when you're doing a lot every day or similar things every day and you go ice bath, it helps you avoid getting those repetitive injuries.
Very cool.
I mean, in addition, I mean, post-workout is the best time that I've discovered to do cryotherapy. Your muscles are torn down. It actually helps with pain relief and with muscle healing, which allows you to get back into the gym sooner so you can recover quicker. And like Kevin said, it reduces inflammation. It's been known to prevent dementia, to help with preventing and treating cancer. It's been, I mean, reducing anxiety and depression even. It's good for your skin. Yeah, so I mean, studies go on and on, but they even said it's very helpful. Some people even treat migraine headaches with it. So, but from an athletic point of view, doing it right after a hard workout and doing it consistently will enable you to get back in the gym faster and work out harder, continue to work out and build up faster.
Excellent questions this
LeBron
evening, you guys.
James, like, has a cryotherapy.
Yeah, LeBron has them. Yeah,
Yeah.
He uses regularly. Exactly. So there's a number of people. Tony Robbins has his own. There's a lot of people that just, I mean, they swear by it. And every city that we go to on the tour, I always look for the cryotherapy place. And I mean, I know all of them. Every city we've gone to, I can tell you where all the cryotherapy places are because I've been to all of them. So
Awesome. Some great questions tonight, everybody. Thank you for that. Zach, do you want to share a little bit about what you heard and saw in the Facebook Live group tonight, just to give everybody some ideas? You're muted. You're muted, Zach. You're muted.
Got it. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, thank you.
What's up, everyone? So there was a lot of great conversation going on the Facebook group tonight about a masterclass or some sort of follow-up class about different types of intermittent fasting. So intermittent fasting was the topic that came up a lot. So I know that that's hot right now, and a lot of people are always willing to try different things with their diet and to see kind of what results that they get. So I just wanted to put out there that if you guys are interested, we already have like 5 people or so, 5 to 10 people interested in doing a class like this. We would love to take down your emails or follow up with you tomorrow or later this week. And then, we'd be in touch with you at a later time to put together some sort of class like this where we could have kind of a smaller group, kind of like this, and we could kind of ping pong ideas off each other and just see how things are going and if it's working for you and kind of the benefits, and just look at intermittent fasting as a whole, if you should do it now, if you shouldn't, blah, blah, blah.
yeah, it's funny because I had 4 biohacks and the 4th one was intermittent fasting, and I took it off in the essence of time.
But the big, I will say this, we will have to do a masterclass on sleep because that is the big, that's the key to it all. And I actually did want to share a quick little statistic for you guys about sleep, which was actually found in the Journal of I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Annals of Internal Medicine. But this really caught my eye, and I thought that you guys would find this intriguing. So the study evaluated the same people on 2 types of calorie-restricted diets, and they evaluated the same people in 2 different phases. The first phase was the group only slept 5.5 hours a night, and the other phase they slept 8.5 hours. They got 8.5 hours of sleep each night. The same individuals who did the same study in the 2 different phases, they lost 55% more fat just by getting more sleep. So it was a fat loss versus a weight loss experiment. Pretty powerful stats. So I just wanted to let everyone know that if you're thinking about doing all these crazy stuff, make sure you're getting your sleep or it's not going to work.
Yeah, so important. That's a really great note to end on. Thank you, Zach. And thanks to everybody tonight for being here, for being part of this adventure, and for being ninjas who can share your lives with us. It's so cool. I have learned so many things, and one of the things that drives me crazy is that I can't hear all the details, so now I have to watch it again tomorrow so I can get all the details and take notes. This is such good information. So thank you all so much. Kent, are there any final words that you'd like to share with the group before we sign off for the evening?
I was just going to say, we're always open to suggestions and ideas that come from the community, ninjas and our attendees. And if there's a topic or something that you guys want to hear more about, just let us know. And we're happy to accommodate you because we're here for you. So
Yeah.
And we'll do more in-depth stuff in the future on these topics. Some of them we covered kind of lightly in overviews, but we can go into deeper, more in-depth conversations in the future.
Super excited to see all of you and to keep our fingers crossed for the ninja season to start soon, because we all want to watch you in action as well. So it's that time. I think that's it. We have filled up our evening. It's 10:15 Eastern time. And I just want to thank every single one of you. Thank you so very much for being part of this and for sharing your wisdom, and keep up the great work, and be sure to join us again with more exciting hot tips.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you guys. It's a lot of fun.
Have a great week, everybody. Thank you so much.
Yes, and happy Memorial Day. That's right.
Yeah.
Be well, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
Night.